The fact that you walk into a kindergarten classroom at the beginning of the year and kids are still working on identifying upper and lowercase letters. And by the end of the year, they're reading. And that is magic.
Thanks for listening to DCSD Notebook from Douglas County School District, where we are truly the top of the class for school districts in the Denver metro area. I'm your host, Jason Hackett, the Director of Communications for DCSD, and if this podcast is going to stick to the notebook metaphor, then this episode is that first blank page of the notebook. We're going all the way back to kindergarten and talking with 3 experts in welcoming 5-year-olds into the great big world of school. The specific school I visited was Bear Canyon Elementary in Highlands Ranch, where Principal Allison Sullivan, whom you heard at the top of the show, and 2 of her kindergarten teachers, Megan Harris and Samantha Banis, made a compelling case for having the best jobs in the world. All right, we are here with the principal and 2 of the 3 kindergarten teachers at Bear Canyon Elementary. And we're going to jump right into this because we are using a part of their planning time. They are very generous to us today. So we're going to talk about what it's like to help kids through their transition into kindergarten. First, I'm going to ask you a question to get to know you, because a lot of these interviews end up being about what you do, but we also want to know a little bit about who you are. So we'll go around the table, and who was your hero growing up? And maybe somebody that inspired you to want to be a teacher, or just a hero because they were a firefighter or a superhero or something like that. Whatever you got.
Okay.
So first with Miss Sullivan.
Yeah. My hero growing up probably had to be, I had a high school teacher who saw potential or something in me that nobody else had seen before. And it was awesome. I was one of those high school nerds where I was the editor of the high school yearbook. And I felt so important because my name was on the outside of the door. And I had like a special office that said, Allison, editor. And I would say she would be my hero.
Excellent. How about you, Megan?
I would say, hopefully this isn't cliche, but my mom, she was a kindergarten and 3rd grade teacher in Douglas County. So I always, since I was little, wanted to be a teacher like Mom. And, I get a lot of my inspiration from her and what she did.
Excellent. How about you, Samantha?
My hero when I was a child was my 5th grade teacher. He was my first male teacher, which was just, not the usual because I was used to having female teachers, and he just really brought magic into the classroom and he made learning fun. And he was one of those first people that made me go, oh, I want to do that when I grow up. I want to be like Mr. Patelis when I grow up. So he was my hero growing up. Here I am.
Nice. Well, and how about that? Everybody with a hero who was somehow in one way or the other, even a parent, tied to your education and helping you become who you are. So, so surprising that people are in this realm and doing the same thing. So that's great. The district chose well and you chose well with your careers, apparently. So excellent. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's jump into what it's like first from a principal's standpoint. You're welcoming in a brand new class of kids. I mean, the only thing I can think of is like a college football coach bringing in like brand new recruits or something.
I don't think it's quite that glamorous. Well, the ironic thing about all of this is in my career, I've taught every age but kindergarten. And here we are doing a podcast about kindergarten. So I'm so glad that Megan and Sam are here to talk about it. I would say our plans for our new kindergartners coming in probably start January and February of the year before. And we really start kind of getting our own minds around it. This year, we noticed that we had an uptake in our kindergarten registration and enrollment, which was awesome. And so right about March, we started looking to add a 3rd section of kindergarten, which was wonderful for our buildings. So you're monitoring things like enrollment and registration as early as February. But then in I don't know, is it April, Megan, where we offer parents an opportunity to come in for a kindergarten orientation. We call it Kindy Roundup. So parents come in, we have a little bit of an orientation, a packet, and a kindergarten handbook ready for them. They have a chance to hear a little bit from me and then visit the classrooms and get kind of a sneak peek in the school, see all the specials classrooms. And the kids then get really excited because they're going to be in a big building and they see the library and the gym and the art room where they get to go for lunch. So it really starts all the way way back before.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And kindergarten registration is what starts in January usually?
Well, we would like it to start in January. Part of the word that we try to get out. Kindergarten parents, especially if it's their first time a child's attending school, are infamous for knocking on the door in August and saying, hey, my kid is kindergarten age. It's time to get them registered. But of course, we know as educators, we need to have planned for a spot for them months before. So we're actually kind of reached out to some of our area preschools this year to let them know, hey, can you spread the word out to your families that registration really does open in January?
And get people in here as early as possible because, yeah, you've got to plan for how many teachers you're going to have, right?
You can't have 30 kids show up in August and I don't have a teacher.
Right. Exactly. Yep. And it's nothing that's the fault of any parents.
Not at all.
A lot of, especially if it's your first child, like to even know what you're supposed to do. I remember being in that boat, and it's a good thing my wife's a teacher because I was clueless. So she handled all that stuff. I would have been like the day before, I guess you need to go to school now, right?
Well, a lot of other states start after Labor Day. So a lot of times people will move in and it's the first week of August and they're thinking they have a whole nother month.
Yeah.
And realize that our schools here start a lot earlier.
They do.
Yeah, than other parts of the country. So then they quickly register. And that's how we sometimes get that uptick right at the beginning of the year.
So for you teachers then, what is it like at the very beginning of the year? We're about a month in, as we're recording this, about a month or so into the school year. What's it like to welcome those kiddos in? Sure, a lot of them have probably been through preschool, but what's it like to welcome them in? And now they've got a full day of school that they're going to be in here, and some of them are ready maybe, and some of them may not be.
Yeah.
Well, we start at the beginning of our pre-planning week. We start when they come for the roundup in April, they will have signed up for a screener. And so we bring them all in. They come in like 4 or 5 kids at a time, and we have a little beginning of kindergarten screener. And that's what helps us balance the classes. So that's the first thing they do. And we create the classes that way. For us, we know the classes before they come in on Balanced Beginnings.
Balanced Beginnings, the first 2 days of our school year, we have half of our class come to school. So if I have 20 kids in my class, that first day I'll only have 10. That second day I'll have the other half, the other 10. And then that usually it's like a Friday, that third day of school, our whole class comes together for the first time. So that gives them a little bit of a slower start to kind of test the waters and see what it's going to be like. Because most preschool settings are a lot less kids and more adults. So to be in a room with 1 adult and 20 kids is a big change for a lot of new incoming kindergartners.
And on those days, we'll do a lot of relationship building. We'll do, spend a lot more time in like kind of like a circle time setting, just learning each other's names, getting to know each other. We do a fun little scavenger hunt around the school. This is a way bigger building than most of their preschools. Yes. So it can be intimidating and exciting for them at the same time.
When you are welcoming those kiddos in, and it probably starts even with the principal out front, welcoming the kids as the parents are dropping them off, what's the ratio of crying and holding on to mom and dad versus ready to go?
Or the adult-child ratio.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody comes out. Grandparents come out. Both parents come. Cameras. Kids are usually here half hour before school because parents want to get that picture in front of the Bear Canyon Spirit Rock or in front of the classroom. I mean, it's a big moment. And I would say a big presence also on that first day is our PTA. I mean, they really roll out the red carpet for these families. They're at our kindy orientation, handing out little goodie baskets and prize baskets and things to the kids. And then that very first day of school, they host a parent breakfast. So the kindergarten parents can drop their kiddos off and then they come in the building, have a chance to meet each other, exchange phone numbers, set up play dates, those kinds of things. It's super fun. There's a lot of energy. I usually do the announcements live on a YouTube video with the new kindergarten parents behind me so that the kindies that are in the classroom can see that their parent is still here having a donut and some coffee. And it's also a chance for parents to really get to know what the school community looks like. PTA has a chance to recruit some new members and get some more volunteers. But we have lots of parents who say what a fabulous welcome it is. And just that sets the tone and the impression for the type of community school that their child is going to be attending.
That's amazing because, having those kids feel that little bit of reassurance, they can still see mom and dad, having the parents just kind of get to hang out and, okay, get used to my new reality of my child is now in school. Holy cow,
And we usually do see more tears from the parents.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely on that first day.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that first day. The kids
Peeking
are
in the
super
window.
excited. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
But the kids do think they love seeing them in the cafeteria. They think they are alive and that they can see into the classroom because they're like, Mom, Dad. It's really cute. They're like, I know her.
that's adorable. And just that reassurance piece. Is
Yeah.
so good. What a great idea. And for recruiting for PTA, that's also excellent, right? Because that builds that community there because you want everybody to be part of this Bear Canyon family. Then.
It's a very intentional part. PTA also hosts popsicles on the playground a couple of days before school starts so that parents can come with their kids. Kids can start running around with each other, reconnecting with kids they know from the neighborhood that they've played with over the summer, but getting to meet new classmates. And again, parents are meeting each other. So this could potentially be the community of kids that your child will go all the way K-12 through, might be graduating. You might be taking that exact same picture at Bear Canyon 13 years later when kids are graduating from high school. So it gives a chance for kids to connect to us, but for us to connect to kids, for parents to connect with each other, for parents to connect with the school. And there's just a lot of excitement. And then our sixth graders come out on the first day, which is another tradition that they've done. You want to describe what the sixth graders do?
Yeah. So on the first full day, so after they've done the balanced beginnings, and the sixth graders have been in school for 2 days while the kindies are doing balanced beginnings. So they've been making like posters and welcome signs. So on that first day, the sixth graders who will eventually be their like reading buddies will like line the entrance with their posters just to like kind of clap the kindies in and welcome them. And it's a huge thing out front. And the parents are all there, all the sixth graders, and they're just cheering them on like, welcome to Bear Canyon. And it's a little overwhelming for the kindies too.
Yeah,
but,
some of them.
But then they're like, look at then they're like, oh, that's my buddy.
Yeah.
And a few weeks later, they meet their sixth grade buddy.
Yes.
So, and then at the end of the year, we do the reverse and we clap out the sixth grade. The kindies walk the sixth graders out when they leave. So,
Oh, what a great
Carry on to middle school.
That's
Yeah.
right. Wow.
yeah.
And those sixth graders, I'm sure they know that that's coming
Yes.
by fourth and fifth grade. So
It's
they're looking
definitely
at that.
something they look forward to.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of those relationships are sustaining relationships. I know when my son was in kindergarten and his sixth grade buddy, they kept in contact through email and texting all the way when his buddy graduated from high school. Even now that my kiddo has grown up and in college, he still texts him every once in a while. So that was like an enduring relationship.
Wow.
Just a mentoring relationship. Yeah.
That is impressive.
And the sixth graders really look forward to it.
They do.
They love it. And they get so close. I mean, there's a lot of tears on that last day.
Oh,
when we
yeah.
got the sixth graders out. And the sixth graders are so sweet. They give them like little gifts and make them cards. And it's every day. They're like, when are we going to see our buddy?
Yes. We see them in the hallway. I saw my buddy. So they're like little celebrities to the
Oh, sure.
kindergartners.
Yeah.
It's really
Just kind of like an informal mentorship.
Yes. And they read to them on a regular basis too, or read with them?
Yeah, so we'll do activities or reading. So it's not always reading. It might be like a craft or something aligned to something like a writing project we're doing in the classroom. So yeah, variety of things.
Yes.
That's great.
We've actually even utilized buddies as some moral support. We had a little kiddo last year who had a sister in the building and she switched schools in the middle of the year. And the kindergartner was feeling like, oh, it's not going to be the same without my sister. And for a little bit of time, the sixth grade buddy came down at the beginning of the day and was like, you know what, I'll take your sister's place for a little while. I'll walk in, make sure that you're settled in the classroom, make sure that you have a good start to the day. So we utilize those relationships all throughout the year for lots of different things.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Again, the whole school is a community, is kind of an extended family then.
Absolutely.
So as the kindergartners are getting used to things now, so you start the year with this big welcome, and then you as the kindergarten teachers really have to train them on what it's like to be in school and not to just get up and wander off when their attention may wander or they just want to play or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? I think that would be one of the hardest jobs of any level teaching. It's just helping kids learn how to be students.
Yes, exactly. Because this is their first time being a student in a big school. So I would say we take it very, very slow. Focus on rules and procedures and not really what we're doing in the beginning, but how we do that. And if we don't get it right the first time, there's a lot of, okay, let's try again. Mm-hmm. So a lot of repetition and just making sure we've got it down so that we can really go fast later. So go slow now, so go fast later.
Okay.
Yeah, the routines are so important. We were just talking about that this morning as we're starting to get ready to teach them how to do kind of like a center-based environment. And it's like, it will go very slow while we're teaching, lots of repetition. But in order to be able to teach the rest of the year, it's important to put in the time for those routines now.
Set yourself up well now for the future.
Yeah.
Okay. And then throughout the year, you'll have their firsts of so many things. First time, maybe having a parent join them for lunch. First assembly, first fire drill, first
class parties are a big deal for kindergarten. Sure. Yeah, we got Halloween coming up. That'll be a big day for our friends.
Right.
Yes, we do get a lot of parent and community involvement on our parties because they love the parties. Yeah. But yeah, we already did our first fire drill and they got awesome. But all those other safety drills too, first lockdown and first tornado drill, all those. Mm-hmm. We had our first meeting with our buddies last week.
Yes, we did.
So yeah, lots of firsts.
Lots of firsts.
I'm guessing that it requires a ton of patience.
Absolutely.
You have to be terribly patient. And are your kindergarten teachers your most patient teachers on your staff?
I will tell you that this is the part where I bow down to them, salute them. Yes, they'll be getting Starbucks tomorrow for giving up their playing time to do this podcast. I think it takes a tremendous amount of patience, but also just an immense amount of dedication into growing these young learners. By the end of the school year, these kindergartners know how to be independent learners. They totally take ownership of their learning. So at the beginning, it might be a really heavy emphasis on the teacher and the teachers running everything and setting up all those classroom routines. But really, when we come back from Christmas break, if you walk into either of these ladies' classrooms, those kids are running the classroom for their own learning. They know what they're learning. They know why they're learning it. They're often choosing different pathways to their learning. There used to be a unit where the kids would learn about the solar system and the teachers would say, okay, how do you want to demonstrate to me your learning? Whatever you want to do. Do you want to make a video? Do you want to do a drawing? Do you want to make a model? Do you want to act it out? It's amazing to me how these kids transfer from being so dependent at the beginning of the year to these independent learners at the end of the year, and they are solidly ready for first grade by far.
That's the big challenge then, is turning them into students and setting them up well for literally the rest of their student careers then. Do you, and I hate to ask this in a way that almost, I don't want to make it, too heavy, I guess, but do you feel the pressure of, we're setting the tone for their entire lives as students?
Yeah. I don't really see it as pressure. I like to think of it more as a privilege.
Okay.
Because I really take pride in our school's community. I have a child who's a student here, and I love being a part of our community. So as a kindergarten teacher, I get to be their first exposure to that community and to those parents. And it's a really big job, and I take a lot of pride in that. It's something that I want to share with them, the amazing community that I feel like I belong to and I'm a part of, and I want them to feel like they can get involved and be a part of that as well. So that's something we talk about a lot in my class. I try to encourage my parents to volunteer and be around as much as possible. possible. And I mean, it is a lot of work and it does take a lot of patience, but the payoff at the end of the year to see where we started to where we end is just, it's so rewarding. So I really enjoy it, even though there are days that are very hard.
Well, and that to me is almost the epitome of the difference from an outsider view to a teacher, that you view it as a privilege and you're like, oh yeah, I look forward to this and this is what I live for. I mean, and that's the thing I have always felt. Teachers are born and then you become, you learn all the skills, but there's something about a teacher that either you have it or you don't. And the great teachers, this is me saying it, I don't want to put words in anybody else's mouth, but I think teachers have such a unique skill set and a unique disposition that like all of us need to be bowing down to you. That is amazing what you do, because so many of the rest of us just are not equipped with those skills or that outlook on things. Does that resonate with you as a principal, kind of getting to see it from a different level?
It absolutely resonates with me. In fact, I joke with these guys all the time that if I'm asked to substitute in a classroom, I get in the classroom and remember how much I love teaching. And I'm always like, why am I a principal again? Because teaching is so fantastic. But I also think there's something really special and unique about being a kindergarten teacher.
Yes.
I mean, I would ask these guys if they're in casual conversation and people say, what do you do? They identify as, oh, I'm a kindergarten teacher. And there is something special and unique about that, because I think you hit it on the head when you said, yeah, they're setting up the foundation for the learning. They're the first exposure to what school life is going to be like. And it's kind of fun to be there at the very beginning. That part is really cool.
Yes, because you're literally like that, I don't know, a Sherpa almost of going from, kind of wandering around and being a little kid, exploring everything, to now you're going to have directed learning and we're going to help you become a student. And you're there to reassure them and make sure that they can do all that they need to do and still be there ready with a hug.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that's another thing. Being kindergarten teachers, you have a high hug ratio, I'm sure.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Also a high zipper coat ratio,
Shoes.
buckle boots,
Shoelaces.
shoes.
Why are
Here's the
shoelaces
tissue.
wet? That's what I always want to know.
Right. And lost and found is probably overflowing.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially come winter.
Yes. Keep track of those belongings.
It's a whole nother routine
Right.
once the snow comes.
Parents, label those belongings, please and thank you.
Yep. All right. I know we need to get you guys out of here to go pick up your students. Any, like a really quick anecdote or something that you could say, like, this is kindergarten, the epitome of kindergarten, or no other teacher has this kind of experience other than a kindergarten teacher. Do you have something that comes to mind really quickly?
I had a friend last year who came in very scared, very unsure of himself, I cannot do this because it is hard, even though I have not tried yet. And I just saw him in the hallway in first grade and talked to his first grade teacher, and he is flourishing. So that is just, it's a great success to see that, to see how far he's come and that I was a piece in preparing him to do well for the rest of his schooling. So for me, that's what kindergarten is.
That's great.
I had a kiddo a couple years ago that he just really had a rough start. We couldn't get him in the building, lots of tears, lots of screaming. We had to create some routines to get him in the building. And he is just the sweetest boy ever now. At the end of the year, he was saying he loves school and he never wants to leave kindergarten. I have his brother this year, actually. So you know who I'm talking about, Samantha. But, and he always comes and visits, and we just had our back to school picnic on Friday, and his mom was like, can he come say hi to you? He's super shy still,
Yeah.
but he always stops by. And I mean, you would never have thought that's where it would have ended, because I mean, when I say it was rough, it was probably a full quarter of screaming to get in the building.
Right.
Yeah. And just some of those kiddos have a hard time transitioning.
Yep.
He's doing great now.
That's amazing. and again, just that perseverance and
Yeah.
that, nope, we can do this. We
Yeah.
can do this, that you guys walk him through
Yeah.
and walk everybody through.
Yeah.
Because we get to set the tone. We
That's
get to have a part in the decision of whether this kid loves school or dislikes school.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's a big thing that I always keep in mind
Mhm.
at the beginning of the year in kindergarten.
Oh, and by the time they're done, they'll all love
Yeah.
it. That's great. That is great. All right. The rest of this episode is just with Allison Sullivan, our principal here at Bear Canyon, because the teachers needed to get back to class. So you're not going to hear them for the last few minutes here. We didn't lose them or anything.
No, they had to pick up their kids.
That's right. We have to stick to a schedule at elementary school. Well, any school, but for sure, especially those kindergartners.
Especially the kindergartners.
Yes, absolutely. What is it from your perspective as a principal, and of course, principals, former teachers? Say you have openings in the spring
Mhm.
and you're trying to fill different openings with different applicants. What keys you in to say that one would work great in kindergarten?
I never hear this particular team, which is an outstanding kindergarten team, say, we can't do it, Allison. We can't do it with these resources. We need more. Or these kids aren't prepared. Their constant outlook is, these are our kiddos. We've got them. They truly look at how each child comes in and what the needs are of this particular child, whether a child comes in and is already performing at first grade skills, because that happens. We have a very involved parent community, kids that come in having a lot of preschool exposure and skills exposure. And they never say, oh, I don't know what to do with that kid because he's already reading or doing math at a first grade level. And at the same time, they don't ever say, I don't know what to do with this child who doesn't have kindergarten readiness skills. We had a student who came in from an immigrant who came in from a war-torn country last year. The parent came in with a translator. And even though we had 3 weeks left of school, the parent said, it's been a really hard year for this child. Could they please go to kindergarten? And this teaching team said, yes, we'd love to have her for the last 3 weeks. We feel bad that we're wrapping up our schooling and there's a lot of memories being shared, but we'd love to have her join the community. There's always a kind of sense of, we can do this. And they're hungry for professional development. It was even last year they came to me and they said, hey, we've learned about this new curriculum. We'd like to get trained. They set up the trainings for themselves. All I had to do was buy a few supplies, but they said, we'd like to be trained on this. We see the research that this is a really great phonics program. It wasn't anything that was pushed from the top down. It was pushed from the bottom up because they really are invested in these kids growing and learning and being prepared. They're fantastic. They're fabulous. They're so good.
Dedication.
100%.
When I touched on it earlier too, thinking about teachers and the extra miles that they go, and they're not here for the fame and the fortune. Mm-hmm. They're not here for whatever just they get out of it. They are here to give.
Yes, and they lean on each other. It's something that you might have been able to pick up as they were talking, is the humor that they share. There's a lot of laughing from that part of the hallway. They eat lunch together almost every day. They do silly, thoughtful things for each other. They have a lot of jokes. There's like a lot of laughter through it as well. It's hard work, but they create kind of a collegial spirit of we can do it amongst each other.
And we should point out that there's a third member of their team who's a first-year teacher that we were
brand new, just graduated.
Let's not put her into this situation of having to talk about this. She's still figuring it out, but
yeah, she's already a rock star.
Yeah,
she's amazing already. She came in and interviewed and had all the right answers during her interview. Was nervous, as any graduate is getting ready to face graduation. She was nervous, and I was curious to see what she would do in front of the kids. So we gave her a challenge. We said, come out. We'd like you to teach a 45-minute lesson that you have planned, and then implement a 45-minute lesson that the teacher has planned. And then we had several people kind of come in to observe her. Our professional learning specialist came in. I came in. Our assistant principal came in. The 2 cooperating teachers came in, and she just hit it out of the ballpark. It was evident in that 90 minutes that she had the ability to make connections with kids, to instruct and teach kids, to implement classroom management strategies, even though she'd never met any of these kids before, had never really even been in this building. So we hired her, and she's already amazing. Spent the whole summer setting up her classroom. She was here multiple days, fine-tuning every single detail so that it would be perfect for the kids to arrive. She's great.
And welcomed by her new colleagues and ready to go. And the other piece about setting up a classroom in the summertime is we don't run the air conditioners in our schools during the summertime for obvious reasons.
True.
That's some other dedication, right?
I hadn't thought about that, but it was a family affair. Every time I came into the building over the summer, her parents were involved. Her sister was involved. Her dad was there. Her mom was there. So that was really fun too, to see them wrap around and support her as well.
That's so great. It sounds like you have an amazing operation out here.
Wouldn't want to be anywhere else. This is my 14th year in administration. I've lost track. 14th or 15th year in administration. I don't want to be anywhere else but Bear Canyon.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing place. This isn't the only school that I've taught in, but it's by far my favorite school.
And credit to you, this doesn't happen without great leadership. So,
well, thank you. I've heard that people will always say, it trickles from the top down, but I don't feel that way. I feel like it's almost like a pyramid. I'm so supported by the bottom up, by my staff. They work really, really hard and they inspire me every day. And I work in a fantastic district where the leaders in this district are also so supportive, and the leadership team I work on is amazing. It's inspiring to be in these other schools in our neighborhood, to go in and see what's going on and what's happening. It's a fabulous district.
that's the kind of thing that I feel like we keep seeing and hearing every time the people on our team, on the communications team, go out and visit our schools and try to capture just a little fraction of what's going on. There's great work going on in all of our schools.
There really is. I mean, I will say that I had a chance to go to a case leadership conference, a Colorado leadership conference, and I intentionally signed up for sessions that were not led by Douglas County leaders because my thinking was I always have access to our Douglas County leaders through all the PD opportunities that are here for us. So I intentionally wanted to see what other leaders were doing. I mean, it wasn't even close. It was amazing to me, the quality of what we receive here as leaders and the support that we receive. Everyone is just a phone call away if you need anything. So it definitely takes an entire district, I think, to support what's going on. But I work with phenomenal leaders and I work with phenomenal teachers.
That is so great to hear. And it's part of why we wanted to start this podcast is share that out and help people understand, like, literally, we're sitting in a classroom right now talking about what happens in our classrooms and hearing it from the folks that are literally there on the front lines. And on our team, on the communication team, we do a lot of putting the logo on there about top of the class, that Douglas County School District is the #1 school district as far as test scores and things like that. But here's why. And here's how, is hearing it from you.
Yes. And it's not just about academics. How much during this conversation do we talk about academics?
Right.
I don't think we barely touched on it at all. The fact that you walk into a kindergarten classroom at the beginning of the year and kids are still working on identifying upper and lowercase letters. And by the end of the year, they're reading. And that is magic. And it comes with very intentional steps along the way. But truly what makes a school special is that community spirit, that welcoming spirit, those relationships and that bonding. It also creates a safer climate. Kids know when I come to the school, I belong. Somebody knows who I am. Somebody in this building cares about me. There's an adult in this building that I trust and I can go to if I'm scared or something is going on. And this is a place of joy. I know this is a place where I can go and play gaga ball. Or it's the first time that I can learn some floor hockey in Mr. Sweeney's PE class. Or maybe it's the first time I've heard a piano played live in music class. So that spark of joy of just being exposed to all these things that kids wouldn't normally be exposed to. That's a magic for kindergarten too. You know, most of our kids have been to a public library, but some kids haven't. And so to walk into even a school library and get to take a book out, that's a big thing.
Sure. So many firsts, and just the world opens up for them in a multitude of ways that even parents that are really active and do take their kids to places, there's still new things that they're experiencing. But for those kids that, for lots of different reasons, just circumstances that make it hard to be able to get and take their children to the library or things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say that our mission statement here at Bear Canyon is to unlock the potential of kids. So we want to give them as many variety of experiences as they have, so they have a chance to be like, oh, I actually really like science. I really like technology. That was a really cool class where I got to code that robot. And we're doing that even at a kindergarten level where they're working on coding on a very basic level. It might be the very first time that they've played basketball before. All of those are part of those experiences. Or being in an art class, getting to manipulate clay. We have a kiln here, as many elementary schools do, but getting to manipulate a piece of clay into a piece of artwork and have that, fired up, and they get to paint it and take it home. That's a big deal. I know I have art from my kids going all the way back to elementary school as well. And they get to start to see what their areas of passion are about.
Opening that world up to them and all the potential, all the possibilities. And then to see them go off to middle school and high school and thrive and flourish.
And they come back and tell us. We just had our big community picnic, and it's a reunion. Middle schoolers and high schoolers are coming back. They want to say hi. They volunteer. They do the face painting station, or they help us monitor the bouncy house castles. And it's like a community reunion. They are anxious to come back and tell us how well they're doing or what they're up to.
Do you do the thing at the end of the school year where any high school seniors come back and walk the halls?
We absolutely do. We clap them on through. They meet at the beginning kind of the whole event. Parents take their pictures. They're all in their cap and gowns. And we have teachers that maybe have retired who will come back to the building for it because they know that they've got students here who have graduated that they taught in first or second grade. And the kids, they come through the building. Every kid comes out of the classroom and claps them through the hallway.
What a great way to just put that capstone on their experience in a community here that starts with as being little kindergartners.
Yep. Their number one comment, oh my God, it's so small in here. It used to feel so big to me.
That's true. A whole different perspective.
Absolutely it is.
That slide used to be way taller, Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I remember that gym being huge.
Yeah. Well, you were a third the size you are now.
That's right? Exactly right.
Oh, well, thank you so much for taking the time.
You're welcome, Jason. Thanks for coming out.
This is so great. And thank you for all the work that you do.
Thanks for all you do for Douglas County, too. This was fun.
This was fun. Absolutely.
It was fun.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to DCSD Notebook from Douglas County School District, which serves more than 60,000 students, making it the third largest public school district in Colorado. With 92 schools, including neighborhood schools, charter options, and homeschool support, DCSD is a welcoming home for every style of learner. To find out more, visit dcsdk12.org. And make sure to hit the follow button in your favorite podcast app so you can get every new episode, as well as Parent University once a month, where we hear from experts within the district and from the larger community talking about timely, relevant issues that parents face in our complex world. We're here to help you, so if you have a question and can't find the answer on our website, email communications@dcsdk12.org and we'll help point you in the right direction.